Everything your brain hears or sees is being shaped by media, and most of the time you won't notice it happening.
But it's only when you get the whole picture you can fully understand what's going on.
So what is media? Media is just channels used to store, transmit, or deliver information. TV, radio, social media. What happens when the people who profit from the attention also get to control what is amplified?
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
With this in mind, let's go way back. Early 1900s, the main way you're going to get your news at this point is from a local newsie. You're going to grab it on the side of the street, you're going to get your paper. Due to the nature of the medium, though, it takes time to process, print, accurately check, and get the information out tomorrow. So what you're actually getting is yesterday's news. It's already filtered, it's already been edited, and then the radio arrives.
To those people who think that Hitler has been blocked and halted,
Roosevelt's political personality and a new device, the radio, came of age at the same time.
Suddenly, we're getting to get information in real time. Music, the president, sports, war updates. If you were on the radio, you were regarded as a voice of truth and reality. So that's why in 1927, the federal government created the Federal Radio Commission. The FRC, as they believed it, meant if you were going to use public airwaves, you had to be serving the public's interest. In simpler terms, if you are fortunate enough to speak to the masses, then you're also responsible for what you say to them. That was carried into the Communications Act in 1934, which formed the Federal Communications Commission. The FCC doubled down on this, stating that the airwaves belong to the public, not to corporations. And then it happened. October 30th, 1938, Orson Welles reads the novel War of the Worlds on CBS Radio.
Enemy now turns east, crossing Passaic River into the Jersey marshes. Steady.
Despite it being a work of complete fiction, the audience heard facts, bulletins, breaking updates, urgent tone. Why? Because they trusted the news. They trusted the medium that was being used. That trust was being manipulated in real time.
You have no idea how many people are listening and what they're thinking. I had every hope that the people would be excited as they would be at a melodrama.
Wells would come out to apologize, but it had already changed. The medium was shifting towards entertainment.
1945, the war over.
After the conclusion of World War II, governments and their citizens had seen how incredibly powerful the medium was for propaganda and information, sometimes misinformation. Some would say it was just too powerful to leave without any safeguards. So, 1949, Truman administration comes along and introduces the Fairness Doctrine. It's simple. If you talk about a controversial issue, you have to give time to the other side. You have to have a conversation. The idea becomes law in the case of Red Lion Broadcasting Company versus the FCC. Fred J. Cook, a journalist, is attacked on air for a book he had written about presidential candidate Barry Goldwater. Fred was not a fan. Reverend Billy Hargis went on a 15-minute broadcast in disapproval of Cook's book and his standpoint on Barry Goldwater. When Cook asked for equal time from the station denied his request. But the FCC saw it a little differently. Supreme Court also agreed. Justice Byron White argued that a broadcaster's rights were secondary to the public's right to hear diverse views. This case defended fairness and placed guardrails around media's freedom in terms of services that benefit the public. By the mid-'80s, public opinion had changed a bit, and the Fairness Doctrine was about to face its final test. Welcome to the 80s! Cable TV explodes, Nickelodeon, 24-hour news cycles, sports from around the world, you can go anywhere. Suddenly the government says, wait, there are enough voices out there. If you want a different perspective, go find it for yourself. So in 1987, the Reagan administration dismantles the Fairness Doctrine. And just like that, deregulation, mergers, monopolies, local news stations are getting bought up. Corporations began to control most of what we saw and heard. Fast forward to 2025, the Sinclair Group, they own over 180 local stations with broadcasts available in over 70% of all American homes.
We're extremely proud of the quality, balanced journalism that CBS 4 News produces.
But we are concerned about trouble irresponsible, one-sided news stories plaguing our country.
And while all of this consolidation was happening in the background, we kept telling ourselves that the media and press was still free, that our First Amendment right would be enough. As a reminder, the First Amendment right only protects you from the government, not from publicly traded companies. So what happens when corporations become censors? What happens when the people who profit from the attention also get to control what is amplified?
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
This is extremely dangerous to our democracy.
When I was in college, I heard many times that if it bleeds, it leads. Fear sells, outrage sells, and that's how we end up in these echo chambers listening to only what we agree with. because news isn't journalism anymore, it's entertainment. It's a race to be the first, not necessarily the most accurate. And if you as the audience hear the same thing over and over again, it'll start to feel like it's the truth. This might be why the public considers the world more unsafe than it actually is. According to Pew Research and FBI data, 75% of Americans think crime is higher than the previous year, despite data that does not support these claims. So what do we do? How do we engage in conversations when even the facts don't feel factual? First, you have to learn to see it. Film and TV are manipulative by design. If I lower the camera, you as the viewer will have to look up to me. This puts me in a powerful position to look down upon you. What if I add music? I can start to control your emotions. If I cut faster, I can overload your brain with visual information, therefore manipulating you. So when you're consuming media, ask yourself, who made this? Who profits if I believe what they say? Why is this perspective being amplified while the other is being completely absent or silenced? Because journalism isn't necessarily about telling you how to feel. It's about why it happened, who made it happen, and who's trying to cover it up. The Society of Professional Journalists requires this of its members: seek the truth and report it, minimize harm, act independently, and be accountable and transparent. That's the standard, that's the ideal. The news, just like the world, is always developing and changing. If we apply this to our way of thinking, it allows us to take in more information and get a more nuanced, clearer picture of why things might be the way that they are. If the whole goal is to find the truth, then you might have to change your mind. If you made it to the end of this video, then I want to thank you so much for stopping by and spending a little bit of time with me today. So this is a version of a lecture I give my broadcast journalism students before they make their first segments. And for some of them, it's the first real time that they've ever had a conversation about how media actually works. Maybe this was for you as well. So if you learned something, please drop it in the comments. Let me know what resonated with you, something new that you learned. And if you didn't learn something and you wanted to learn about that, also drop that down there so I can dig into that next time. My only other thing to say is remember that every system has a profit model, so if it's free, you're the product. Stay curious, ask better questions, and I'll see you next time.